Welcome to Monday Night Madness with Karen and Amy. And tonight we are talking about relationships and the most valuable things Karen and I have been taught from relationship gurus throughout our adulthood. And to start this off, we actually have John here to say hello, as John is running a 2-day workshop with our HHE community this weekend for Friday night and all day Saturday. And we invited him to come on and say hello to the community and give us a rundown of what to expect this weekend.
And before we go any farther, I love John. Oh my gosh, John is amazing. I have sent so many of my students, my clients, my staff, my family to see John because he also works via Zoom, but just the way his brain thinks, like some people are like engineers and they can build anything, and I can make anything in the kitchen. This man can look at a relationship and go, you do this, and you'll be fine. Like, he just sees it. I don't know. It's like God talks to him or something, but it is amazing. And so his presentations, I've been to them many times. My kids have gone to him. All these people have gone to him that are friends with us. And it is so much fun. You will laugh, you will cry, you will literally understand communication so much more. And we're going to let John talk first, because then John's going to hop off. And then Amy and I are going to share some of our biggest takeaways, or some takeaways. You just never know what's going to come out of this guy's mouth, because you're such a gift to relationships, John. Thank you so much for always following your dream on helping people.
Thanks, Karen. As you guys know, I love you. Okay, let's get that out of the way. But I got to tell you, one of my favorite memories of Karen, two favorite memories, both kind of during the same meeting, and that was when I brought my kids over to her place, and I was going to guide them through a meditation. And because we were having a fun little spiritual evening together, and so I was going to do this really, what Karen perceived to be a really inspiring spiritual meditation. But what she didn't know is that I'd brought one of those popping bubbles type things, the packing bubbles. And so I start the meditation. I'm saying, now just, I want you to see a meadow, and you're feeling peaceful, and you're starting to have some breakthroughs, and everybody's eyes were closed. And then I said, but look up there at the top of the meadow. Someone has a gun. And then I just smashed that. It was like an explosion under my foot. And Karen just freaked.
Well, we were in our building, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was in the building.
It was so classic just to have, and that's the way life is. The things we expect sometimes turn out so differently. And that's particularly true in marriage. And so the 2-hour seminar I'm going to give Friday night is called The Way to a Man's Heart, The Way to a Woman's Heart. And I'm going to give some really, I think, compelling formulas for how to reach each other. Specifically, 2 basic paradigms with which to reach a man's heart, and 3 or 4, depending on how much time we take on the seminar, as far as the way to a woman's heart. And we operate in that seminar with what I call archetypes, and starting with a healthy archetype of a woman, which is the reigning queen. That's who she was born to be. That's who she is. As she gets wounded and her needs aren't met, she descends to the lost princess. And if you can reach her there, then you are conqueror as a man. You have reached your finest moment. You do not want her to ascend to the 3rd level of archetype, which is, and I'm hesitant to say this, but happens once in a while. It's called the nasty witch. So you don't want to let her move from that cute lost princess archetype, because that's really sweet. And I'll explain what that's all about. A man's 3 archetypes, starting with his healthy archetype, is Superman. Come to save and conquer and fix, even if it doesn't need fixing, or if no one wants it to be fixed. He's on a mission, at all times. Now that's his healthy, real self. His wounded self is called super baby. And that's when he is starting to whine a little bit and things aren't going his way and he doesn't quite know how to deal with it. And then finally, the final archetype, as far as a wounded man, is called the frozen Superman. And we'll use those 6 archetypes to explain the way to a man's heart, the way to a woman's heart. But what you'll come away with at that seminar is some extremely specific, very simple, not easy solutions, but very simple and very specific. And we'll talk about that on Tuesday. Now, then we're going to talk. You want me to tell them a little bit about the next day, right? Which is
Yeah, so that's all on Friday.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, get your Kleenex. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to laugh, and you're going to cry. It's so much fun. So that's one of my favorite presentations, John. But there's 9 agreements that's what takes the cake. It's incredible.
Yeah. So the 9 agreements, and I forgot to tell you my other memory of Karen before I tell you that.
Oh,
And that memory came up 4 days ago with my beautiful daughter. You may remember Nicole, you guys, but Nicole is not what you would call a spiritual woman. She's got kind of an atheist, leans toward that. But we were talking about Karen about 4 days ago. And she said, I remember Karen. I said, I can't believe you remember her. You were just so little. She said she did the chakra and she did Loosey Goosey and Tidy Whitey. And do you remember that, Karen? That was my daughter. And
that's awesome.
and here's what was so cool about what she said. She said, Papa, that was probably the only real spiritual moment of my life. Isn't that the sweetest thing? Is that her memory with Karen doing that chakra adjustment? That really meant a lot to me. She's an amazing woman. We're very close, but she doesn't have that spiritual dimension at this point in life yet, but she has at least that memory with you.
That's
I love
so
that.
great. Thank you for sharing.
But the 9 agreements are sort of how to do an effective posturing, a deep dive for what we talk about the night before, and the way to a man's heart, the way to a woman's heart. These are the deeper, self-evident, universal principles that you already know when I mention them. In fact, I may even mention them right now. Hold on for a second. I'm going to turn off my phone for a second because whoever's trying to reach me just keeps coming. So these are self-evident, and agreement 1 is live life intentionally. We'll talk a lot about what that really means and how to manifest in a very deep way, a very simple way, and a lot of other implications toward the other 8 agreements with agreement 1. Agreement 2 is called live in underlying trust. And agreement 2, 3, and 4 make a pyramid for settling all issues in your marriage. Agreement 3 is personal boundaries, and agreement 4 is give love versus control. Those are a powerhouse together. When you start discovering your lack of trust that's inert, it's inherent, it's born into you, and you start to see how that wreaks havoc in terms of either having collapsing boundaries or having the disposition to run and hide. And number 3, agreement 3, you're going to learn to set up balance in your life when it comes to your personal boundaries. You're going to get really committed in a deep way to navigating your relationship towards something that is really working for you too. Notice what I said, working for you too. What we usually do is create relationships that either work just for me or work for you, but not both of us, what Stephen Covey called win-win relationships. But we're going to expand on that concept of win-win in a very, an extremely broad view. Then agreement number 5 rather, is to heal the real wounds. And that is to take a look at what you think is bothering you compared to what might actually be bothering you. And a lot of times, that's what's so great about what Karen and Amy do. A lot of times, what is manifesting physically is emotional, but what's manifesting emotional is physical. And that's where Karen and Amy come in, to really dial in your health so that your feelings start to become positive, because your body is positive. And that is such a beautiful process that you guys are involved in with people. I'm looking at your faces right now, just on your little screen, Amy and Karen, and I'm just feeling that health radiate through my computer right now into everybody else's space. And I love that. In fact, I've been getting back to kale again. Karen. I've gone kale crazy lately. I've turned into a piece of kale, but my energy is just, and it's like all Whole Foods. Ever since we knew we were coming out to Karen's, I started eating right, exercising, doing everything right. Talk about somebody that knows how to tune people up. All you have to do is think about Karen, and you start getting on the path. Thank you. So that's agreement 5. And getting on the path for you. What does that mean? What needs adjustment? What's missing? What's hurting compared to what you think is hurting? And that's a real spiritual journey sometimes. And we're going to kind of crescendo in that element of the journey on agreement 5. And then agreement 6 is very unique to my workshop because it uses a code word called Mahana. Now, most of you have never heard that title before, Mahana, but Mahana is the hidden piece of you that is actually, without you knowing it, behind your back, testing people's love for you. She's very tricky. So that's a code word for that part of you. And you can think about that between now and Saturday. And we're going to really explore Mahana in you. And there are many different angles that Mahana takes, but she has one mission. I will test your love for me just to make sure. I will make it hard for you to love me. And if you still love me, with me making it hard, then you really love me, and I must be really lovable. Now, that is a pretty misguided test. I want you to know that. And we're going to dive very deep into that whole crazy world. But the resolve of that is so much better. It's so much better to bring Mahana where she belongs, which is in a whole nother universe and not in yours. So we're going to discover Mahana in you, and we're going to resolve that paradox, I didn't mean the word paradox, that, what's the word I'm looking for? That syndrome would be a good word. That's agreement 6. Agreement 7 is another code word, and it's Johnny Lingo. And Johnny Lingo is a code word for the part of you that is or is not committed to speaking, not to the disappointment, but to the possibility. Speaking to the possibility, not to your letdown, not to your angst, but to your vision, to what you see as possible in your relationship, in the relationship. You speak to that. And we're going to get, again, very clear on what that looks like with what's called the Johnny Lingo Agreement 7, actually called assisting others in showing up as their best self. That's the real name, but I have code words, Johnny Lingo and Mahana. Mahana's real name to that agreement, agreement 6, is showing up as your best and real self. Great agreements. And you'll find that these are 9 separate individual windows that when you look through them at the same time in your relationship, when you look, and you can do that. I make it sound hard right now, but at the end of the day, you'll see that you can quickly look at an issue or a situation in a relationship through all 9 windows at once and dial in to the best picture of that relationship you've ever been able to create, and therefore knowing how to proceed. Agreement number 8 is to choose the path of greatest opportunity, or in other words, to face into the wind. Agreement number 8 is a real, all these are, these are all, as I'm saying these agreements, I'm thinking back of 20 years of history with many hundreds of people and the startled look on their faces as we go through this workshop and the mixed emotions that they have. And finally, the breakthrough that they have once they get to the other side of kind of the resistance they have to each of these agreements. Agreement number 8 is particularly difficult in that sense. Not difficult in like, it's like being at boot camp or something. I'm just saying you're going to feel some resistance and then you're going to break through. Everybody does. And it's just a conversation. There's no real extreme activities other than we do ask that at some point during the lunch break, everybody goes outside and gets in swimming gear and goes into Karen's pond. Other than that,
Let's do the pool. Let's do the pool.
yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So agreement number 9 is I cause my world. I'm the architect. And the more I can look for myself as the cause, whether I find it or not, the more I can look for it, the more I'm willing to look for myself as the cause of all things in my world, the more free I will be. Just completely free. I've been working on that agreement, particularly on a personal level, for 70 years now. And I get closer every day. And because of that, I get a little happier every day. Now, there's a lot of nuances to what I'm talking about. And I hope you'll join us, especially for the Saturday thing. I'd love to work with you on all of it. If you're online, if you're in the room, that would be great. Karen, is there anything else that you want me to say before I go?
What I love, John. So John and Narelle, his amazing wife, one of my dearest friends ever, they have worked over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks specifically on this presentation because it's always a 2-day 9 to 9 presentation, and they have gotten it into 1 day. The evening class on Friday is one they've given many times. I've gone to it many times. It's absolutely incredible. But this Saturday, 9 agreements into 1 day is specifically because many people will be on Zoom. And it is going to change your life. I just can't tell you enough. You probably already know that from hearing John, but you are just going to be able to look at your life differently, and it's going to be an amazing day. So I really hope you all can join us because it's an incredible breakthrough. That was a perfect word for it, John. It really is. And
Thanks, Karen.
after John leaves, we're going to continue to talk about relationships and some of the things that we've learned, some of the things that we've done wrong, and that we continue to grow through, because we're here together to strengthen one another. Our relationship, we don't just get good at a relationship and then we're good all the time. It's a constant. I loved how you said it's every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long road and it's a beautiful one. And the longer I'm alive, the more I see that the happiness I want, that you guys want, is so much more possible than we think. And if we're just willing to kind of walk the path that leads to it, that's a big just. When I say if we're just willing to. And I think that's particularly true in health, which is why I'm always delighted to work with Amy and Karen because of that.
Well, we can't wait, John. Thank you for joining us today for a little bit here. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday when you fly.
All right. I'll see you then. Love you guys.
Love you
bye.
too.
Thank you, John.
And bring your swimsuit. I got to tell them that. They got to bring your swimsuit. Okay, everyone. Well, again, we are super excited that we have that. If you're watching this recorded, we do actually have the recordings as well as something that we do share on Holistic Health Educators as one of our courses. This will also be part of one of our, we're going to put it in our
Holistic
psychology course as well. So,
But the live workshop is huge because you get to like work through these things in real time. Everything you mentioned about like each agreement, some agreements you might feel like immediate resonance with and be like, oh, that feels like truth. Like, I love it. You want to like bathe in it. Just, But then other agreements, he'll explain the concept. And like, I became like viscerally angry the first time I went through his workshop when it came to like agreement 5. I was like, no, I was like, you're wrong. I'm like, you're wrong. Like, this is my boss's fault. This has nothing to do with me. I mean, I went as a single girl. So I was like 21 in a room with like a bunch of married people. It was the best thing I could have possibly done in my early 20s. Best thing possible. But anyway, and so we like, he takes me through this process, and like, you get to a point where like, this is why he says the whole workshop is designed to bring down your defensive mechanisms so that you can like enjoy life to your fullest, because you have those protections up for a reason, and they have served a purpose for you at some point. And so they're there for a reason, and they're not bad. They're just preventing you from being more joyful and more connected to people right now. So through the process of him like working with me and that coming down, by the end, I like had a completely different perspective on it. So yes, to answer your question, someone asked, should you bring your spouse? Absolutely. If they're willing to attend with you, that's like the best case scenario. If they're not, still come, because like you're still going to glean so much for yourself. And it applies to all relationships, not just romantic ones. But yeah, if your spouse is willing, like I literally can't imagine a better use of a Saturday for like, as far as time goes and the workshop goes.
And Tammy or one of our staff, if you can grab the link and put it in the chat for people to register, that would be great. We do have a coupon code also.
We have a coupon code because we made it $49 on
for
Zoom,
Zoom.
which is epic.
Yes,
because it
way
was
too cheap.
a lot more. But we even made a special discount code on top of that to give you guys another $10 off. So it's $39 if you want to join. And this is someone like I paid $150 for as a single girl back in the day. So it's we're
Yeah.
definitely trying to make it as affordable as possible for you guys.
And
to
they've
get
given
this
us a great
information.
discount. So like you can come as a couple in person for 150.
Yeah.
That they've never done that.
Yeah.
And so we're just excited to get this, filmed, part of Holistic Health Educators, and have people here. So the prices are phenomenal. You'll never see them that inexpensive again, but we're excited. And I guess I just wanted to share. So my biggest
Grab my
thing,
laptop.
you grab your laptop, girlfriend, is so John has met with our family many times, people in our family, and communication is the key. And it is incredible how these 9 agreements can help you understand how better to communicate with everyone around you. That's why we're like, just come, because it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship with a spouse or not. This will matter with your workplace. This will matter with your friends, with your parents, with your children, and I don't know how many of you are dealing with this, but like I have a couple of children who don't have anything to do with me anymore. And I'm like, one of them is lost to drugs, and another one of them, I left the religion that I raised my children in. And a couple of them have definitely not been okay with that. One I haven't heard from or talked to in years, and I can't see my grandkids, and like, blah, 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 right? So it's like kids. And I'm like, well, I take it all personally, of course. And I had to get to that point where I can't take that personally. This is their choice. This is where they're living. But this 9 agreements, I'm looking really forward to this. I've gone through the 9 agreements a couple times now, and I've met with John several times with my ex-husband. And I can't wait to go through it right now, because I don't have these relationships with some of our children because of my choices, when I moved forward in my faiths. And I can't wait to see what I can discover, because I've been in a lot of pain. This has been a very, very, very hard few years. I'm thrilled right now. I have a wonderful husband. God's amazing. Like, all's good. But that pain, you don't get rid of the pain unless you work through that pain. And so I'm really excited myself on this journey, because I've learned so much from John in the past. He's incredible at helping with communication. And in a relationship, you both need that. So please bring your spouse, and please get a copy of the recording so you can listen to it over and over. And he does give you worksheets. He gives you information, and he gives you, say this, then say this, then say this. And we used it. It was just wonderful. Anyhow, so I'm really super excited that I get to go through this, and that you all get to join us. Are there any questions? Anybody want to share anything? Because this, relationships are key. And Amy was like, Mom, I titled the email, Relationships Are Everything. And I'm like, they are, because you have a relationship with yourself. How many of us are dishonest with ourselves sometimes? We think that we don't have an issue, or we think that it's all about someone else. And it's not. It is not. I can't agree more with John that the more we look at our behavior and the people around us, and the more responsibility we take for our own actions, when we own those actions, the easier it is to live and forgive and move forward and let go and move on and into creation instead of that victim mode. So I'm just super excited.
Amazing. And I noticed a couple people already registered, so you get a $10 of HAG bucks to be applied towards anything. Milani, I see you. Don't be surprised if you get a random gift in the mail, okay? But for everyone else, the coupon is yes, because you're saying yes to yourself and do your best life possible. Why yes? It's
Did we
another
send
$10
them?
off.
Okay, Tammy did. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, you're registering through Lily Fields
Yeah.
and Lily Fields is a nonprofit. And this is, we spend an enormous amount of money every month taking care of our property and building our center. We can't wait for all of you to come in person.
Yeah,
So thank you for your donation.
yeah. Amazing. Well, I'm sure we all learned just from hearing him go through the 9 agreements. Who here picked something up from John's just explaining the 3 archetypes and just listing out the agreements?
Who else got emotional? I got emotional when he was saying the archetypes. Didn't you though, Nathan and Yolanda? I know it was like,
Yeah.
because I felt those things,
Yeah.
especially when I went through my divorce, right? And I felt my savior come in, my
Superman.
my Superman come in and go, here, hello, I'm here to save your day. I'm like, oh, it's like, you can just feel them. So just wait until you spend 2 hours listening to
Yeah.
this.
But it's relatable because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I've totally been the lost princess. And I've also dated super babies.
Mhm.
But it's just relatable. It's super relatable. And you just to see how that can all play out. I'm like, wow, that's very useful to understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Shannon. We definitely were, this has turned into 30 minutes of us promoting this event, but that really is because it's in everyone's greatest good. So
Well, we could talk about like the realms of power.
Yeah.
And we can talk about some of our greatest things.
yeah, let's
with
just share, let's just
that,
keep it
but-
to 10 minutes of that and then we'll wrap it up
I
if that
think
works.
it's great. Yep.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
Well, do you want to go first or should I go first?
Well, you had asked me before we started Monday Night Madness what my biggest takeaway was, and mine was not to take things personally. That's probably the biggest hang up we all have. I know I have it.
Mm.
I take things very personally because I've like striven to be the best mom ever, and be the best this ever and be the best this. And I'm born in October, so I'm a Scorpio or whatever that means, and I'm like, wow, let's just save the world all at once. And I'm type A. So I was like, oh, don't do that. Okay, I won't. Like, it's that easy, but like, I just have striven, my entire life, I've strove to be the best I can and do the best I can. And then when I screw something up or someone's like, oh yeah, well, you kind of suck. I'm like, I take it so personally, or like, sorry, mom, you can't see the kids anymore. We'll see you later in life. And I'm like, I just take everything personally. And I've really learned that that's a really bad thing to do, like, because it's not about us. And we get so it's not self-pride, but we think everything revolves around us. It doesn't. They're making those choices based on the information that they know. And my poor children, my poor dear Amy, and all the kids that were raised in my home, and even all my clients, some of you have heard this 1,000 times, your beliefs are based on what you know. So like, you're going to make these decisions because you're basing it on what you already know. And so when you come and you look at relationships and you start expanding your knowledge about how the world works relationship wise and energy wise, you will have different beliefs about the exact same situation because you understand it better. And so if you have a really sucky relationship with your mom or your dad or your kid or your dog, dogs don't count. Well, they do count, but not in this. But like whoever it is, you are going to change that relationship because you're going to learn more. So why won't we invest a day and a half and $49 or whatever it costs to come in person and like learn these incredible truths? Because then our life is going to shift for the better. We're going to feel better. You are going to cry. You're going to have feelings through this. This is not an easy day on Saturday because you're going to have to look inside of yourself and reflect a little bit and then be truthful to yourself and write things down. But that's how we grow. Just like all of you who aren't drinking milk anymore or aren't doing this anymore, are cutting back on sugar. Like that's how we grow. And there might be pain as we grow, but then we become a far better. It's the wildcrafted. I wish we could run into the piano right now so you could sing that song for everyone. You can say the lyrics because the wildcrafted plant is going through a lot more stress than the little organic plant grown in a
Greenhouse.
hell. Yeah. It just is because it's hitting all the rain, but then you become so much stronger. And the wildcrafted herbs are so much healthier for you because they have so much more medicinal properties because they made it. They made it through the storm.
Yeah.
Those of you who are religious, you've often heard from the Bible when they talk about, the refiner's fire, and that iron just keeps going in, and that glass, it goes in and it goes in and it goes in until all of a sudden you can see your reflection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just that whole thing. Who wants to jump into a fire? Not me, but we get thrown into them plenty of times, and those aren't our choices, but how we react to that is our choice. And the last thing I'll mention is I also told my children all the time, and I tell myself, no one can make me mad. No one can make you mad. No one can make you mad. No one can make Nathan mad. No one can make Sarah mad. No one can make Margie mad. No one can make you mad. That is your choice as a reaction to what's happened. And so we have to really own responsibility on our choices, and doing that through getting educated through people like John or other relationship experts, like top of the line experts. It changes your life. It has changed mine. It has freed my soul. It has given me strength to move forward after what I felt was the world collapsing after 30 some years of dedication to a family and having it fall apart because of a choice I made to move forward in my religious beliefs. That was devastating. And right now I don't have a single regret. I am on fire and happy to be alive. And I'm excited to go to this Saturday. I'm so excited to share it with Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Me
wait.
too. That's beautiful. Thank you
Aw,
for sharing that.
you're
You're so cool.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. So yeah,
Ooh, you let your
I
hair
love
down. I love
I'm
it.
so comfortable
Isn't it
right now.
pretty down.
Interestingly enough, I don't feel impressed to share what I was planning on sharing on tonight's call. That may come at a later time. But what I do feel impressed to share is to reiterate what my mom said about the Refiner's Fire and the group of people we have gathered here at Holistic Health Educators. We had a world-class emotion coach come in and meet with a lot of our students. And I called him after, he met with about 25 of our students. I called him over like our current people going through our program. I called him just to get an evaluation, a report of like, hey, how's everyone doing? Is there anything I need to be aware of? And he's like, Amy, I'm not going to lie. He's like, I've worked with a lot of organizations and a lot of groups of people. He's like, your people have been through some tough shit. He's like, they have like, sorry for swearing. He's like, your people have been through it. He's like, I actually can't recall the last time I encountered a group of people who had like, at times like this much on their backs that they were carrying into this, but had this big of a heart to share it with the world. He's like, I'm just letting you know, like, just feedback. He's like, I don't think it's possible for you to support your people emotionally enough, like throughout their process. And I was like, wow, that's very profound. A lot of you have come to us after like extremely strenuous life circumstances, whether that was being gaslit in the medical field, whether that was relationship wounds, abusive relationships, single motherhood, single fatherhood, or married, but had other challenges going on. Like a lot of you have been through things, and it is like, I so deeply believe in God's path for people, but I also know that we are not meant to walk it alone. And the refinement that we go through isn't just the hardship, it's the healing. Like that's the other half of it. Like half of the refinement is getting thrown in the fire, and the other half is getting pulled out. Right. And that's really what this HHE community is all about, is like people have come to us like hot, and they've been in the fire, man. They've been in the fire. And we want to help pull them out and help them become the tools that they know they can be, and that they need to be to help heal the world. And like, thank God, our community is as diverse and beautiful of every age group that it is, because there's enough of these like perfect, have it all together Instagram people out there who are preaching holistic health. And what we get to do is like bring health to people at a very relatable level, knowing what they've been through at a level that reaches them. And I just want to affirm to any one of you who like sometimes feels like a little bit of, self-doubt, or wondering if you are going to make it or have what it takes to make it. Like, this is what walking the path that heaven laid for you looks like, is like saying, this is what faith looks like, you guys. Because if it was obvious, it wouldn't require faith. If it was a no-brainer, it wouldn't require faith. If it was like a dumb, obvious yes, it wouldn't require faith. But that's the whole point. Like, we're showing up when we say, like, I know that I feel unqualified, but I know what my heart says. And if God calls me to it, he'll bring me through it. So that is what I want to share today is, this workshop, and part of the reason why we've try to make it as cheap as possible or as affordable as possible is because we do believe these are tools that will help you personally and help your clients. We really want to help get these messages out there. A lot of people are struggling with communication, especially in our era of if they're toxic, cut them out culture we have going on right now. That's really,
It's not even if it's toxic, cut them out. If you just don't
If you're a
agree
human
with
being.
them, or they don't make you feel fuzzy and warm every time you look at them, just like the heck with them. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening. Families are torn apart.
Yeah.
Societies are torn apart.
Yeah.
Communities are torn
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah. And a lot of that's because we've lost some of these, like, well, it's funny because everyone like my age likes to say that the generation above us doesn't know how to communicate, but I'm like, but you guys want like cutting each other out. Like my parents would never have done that to their parents. But anyway, we don't need to get into that right now. I understand there's a reason for what everyone does, and I do believe most people are acting in their highest and greatest good. But what is true is that more of these truths that John and Norella are going to be sharing with us need to make it out there. I think we're all in agreement of that.
And I just want to say we aren't at all going to make enough money to cover what we're spending to bring them out here. We're not, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I want this for holistic health educators. I haven't regretted 1 minute with the amount of money I've spent to bring them here and keep them here and pay them for coming, because I can't wait. It is the investment I want to make into all of
Our
you and
community.
into our family and into myself, because I'm just saying, it's not like we sit here and make all this money whenever we do anything. It's not. We do this because we want you literally to have the best information, because I know that you go out and you teach others. I know that because I get the emails all the time from clients that I've worked with for over 15 years, and I haven't heard from them for a long time. And you're going to do the same thing because you are going to have so much information in your noggin, right? That you can just be pulling things out left and right when they're called on. And I just feel like Amy does. The people here, there's something so special about holistic health educators and the people who've come through our programs now and in the past and in the future. So I'm so happy that we can share this with all of you. It will mean so much to me, the more of you that come, because I know that the information that has literally helped save my life and my relationships is going to be something you're hearing and that you can implement, because I can attest it will change your life. And of all the times we need to be more grounded in our relationships, it's now when everyone is trying to tear those apart from us. And even when Amy's like, but is relationship really everything? And I said, but Amy, the most important relationship anybody has is with themselves. And this class will help you have a tremendously better relationship, even with just you who you wake up with and you who you go to sleep with at night.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
I think we told them we liked it. We liked
You think
it.
they got it across?
I think we communicated that
This is good.
effectively.
This is good.
Yes.
I know it's
Silent maracas.
That's right.
Oh, no.
Of course, we won't mind if anybody flies out and comes in person. We have a few people. we
Yeah.
have a few couples coming. I
Show
think
up
we
at
have,
our doorstep.
several couples coming, which will be fun. Of course, don't come tomorrow. Well, come tomorrow if you want to work, because we got our lights. We got our studio kitchen finalized. So the plumbing is in, all the cabinets are in, and tomorrow the electricians come just to hang up the 3 lights and put the 4 outlets in. And then you should see my studio. Oh my gosh. Everything that belongs in the kitchen is still lining the whole studio is completely torn apart, and it has to get pulled together by Thursday when we have one of our first classes Thursday. So
It'll look good though.
they can come
You
early.
can do anything.
It'll happen.
You can do anything. And yeah, Jeannie, I'll message you about if you can't make any of it, I do believe it. I mean, obviously the no-brainer that the recording is going to be extremely valuable to you.
Mhm.
But I want to ask like if there is a better format for us to deliver the replay, considering how much workshopping is involved. So let me get more questions for you on that, and we can just message each other. But
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks Avery and thanks.
Oh, well, thank you, everyone. This is more of a subdued Monday Night Madness. We didn't get really excited about anything. I mean, we're excited and passionate, but it's more serious.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah,
What-
I was really excited to share my thing, but it can wait.
Okay.
So
Gotta follow your heart.
I
honey.
know
Just gotta follow you.
next time.
Good,
But
good,
yeah,
good.
and is anyone
Avery has his hand up.
okay.
Oh, he didn't. Just kidding. Okay, just kidding. He was just going, yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what he's
okay.
doing.
Well, we love Avery, so it works. Avery came up on our staff meeting today, actually.
Did he
Sorry,
really?
Avery. Yeah, we were like, everyone was talking and they're like, but we're just evaluating this semester and we've been so happy about student attendance on live calls this term with how many calls we have, because this is actually the most live calls we've done in a semester.
Mhm.
And we thought people would just make like one a week, but like we have, a lot of it, people are coming every single night. We're like, this is awesome. We were just reviewing some students, and I can't remember if it was Anna or Denise or who was like, and they're like, freaking seeing Avery. He's just like heart chakra wide open. And we were like, so anyway, we really appreciate you and your presence here. So yeah, thank you.
And everyone, if you don't know, we have our big holistic health reunion and retreat in May. It's the first
Yes.
weekend in May. So please, please, please put that on your calendar. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then it goes into Sunday. We have so much planned. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. We have a surprise on Friday night for my daughter who's getting married, Lily, who was bedridden for 4 years. So we're having a bridal shower and you're all invited. We're gonna have so much fun. Shh, don't tell her. She thinks it's the next week. We have Candy coming. Candy does epoxy art, and you're gonna be able to make some really great art, starting Saturday and finishing up on Sunday. And then all the classes, all the food, all the family. It's just gonna be so
It'll be
much fun.
fun.
So
It's gonna be fun. We might not have our archery station up by then.
we already have
So
one.
I know, but like we're gonna build like a proper archery station.
Ooh, I like this. I like this.
Yeah, but so don't hold your breath. for
When
that,
did you
but
get into archery? Have you
I
ever shot
always
a bow and
wanted
arrow?
I always wanted to be in
You've never
archery
shot
as
a
a
bow
kid.
and
I
arrow?
have too at youth
When?
camp growing up. And well, it was like one day. Anyway, we're moving on. Yolanda, you had your hand raised, Yolanda. What were you gonna say?
Sorry,
You're
I
an
just,
archer?
Oh, yes, Yolanda.
Sorry, Yolanda.
not that you need another plug for John and Narelle, but I worked with them for years, in their workshops and everything, and so they are so amazing. I still, when I have difficult moments with family members, I remember what John said. And, or with my husband, we get into something, I'll say, remember when John said this or that? And so.
Well, then you know the joke
I-
he always pulled during the 2-day event where he would go to the bathroom and leave his
Yes, yes, I was
on.
there. I
Oh
was
my
there.
gosh.
I was there when it happened. I was
He
there when it
doesn't-
happened and we were laughing our heads off. And then he was, and this is John. Okay.
It's
so
John.
being embarrassed, he goes,
He is such a
"Hey,
dork.
I could use that."
And of course, he really wasn't going to the bathroom, but he made
funny
it
that he
sound like he was
said-
going to the bathroom. He flushed the toilet and we're all like, oh, his microphone is on, Oh, he is and he sings.
Oh,
So
well,
he
that's what I
actually,
was gonna ask. Is he gonna sing? Because
yeah, he's bringing his
you
guitar.
can't-
He's going to sing.
you
no,
cannot
no,
miss
yeah,
that.
Oh, we're
have
providing
one.
it. Do we have a guitar?
Not yet.
Okay, we're going to provide a guitar. Let's ask Devin.
Okay, we're gonna have a
Devin
guitar
has
fun,
guitars. Okay, we're going to have a guitar.
But yeah, it's
We have to get a
I
guitar.
wish I could be
Right
there.
yeah.
I'll join you on Zoom.
Okay, good.
That's so awesome, Yolanda, that you've been in
Yeah.
person. That's so cool to hear.
Mm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Tammy said she's going to help you with archery.
Thanks, Tammy. Doesn't surprise me that she has a bow. She's cool.
She's pretty.
Of course, she has a bow, Mom.
So if I get a bow, it'd be cool.
You're already cool.
I bet Avery has
You're all.
Avery probably has 6 bows.
I don't know if you need that many bows. Just
One.
Oh, of course. Just one. 75-pound draw.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's awesome.
what's it called?
What?
What's the compound?
Is it-
Compound bow.
A compound bow.
I have no idea what that means. I've just heard it.
Yeah, it's probably not a stick with yarn. So yeah, it's probably a compound bow.
Stick with yarn works.
It does not.
fine.
I've never seen a stick with yarn, but anyway.
You guys are great. Okay, we should wrap up Monday Night Madness tonight and then stick on for love notes. How's that sound?
Okay, we can do that. Well, everyone, thank you. And reach out to have support when your personal relationships, you have like literally 6 people that are available for you at any time that you're start having an emotional breakdown. please utilize the team because it can help so
Yeah.
much having someone to talk to. Those are my final words.
Very important. Yeah,
And,
don't keep it in.
Yeah, and remote Reiki can help, prayer can help, having another
And
perspective can
feelings
help.
buried alive never die.
Yeah,
We
so
must
it can help.
work through it.
So,
Okay,
Okay,
well, you
thank
guys
you.
remember this because
You
are the master of your body and your spirit and your mind
and
and your
yes, and
relationship.
God will guide the ship.
That's right.